Hi guys, Jessica here. I have a good fic for you guys. It's pretty bad. The summary is, after running away from her rich life, Bittersweet has an unfortunate run-in with Brooklyn's finest, Spot Conlon. After Spot learns of Bittersweet's past, will he take her in or leave her on the street? Friendship wars in the Delancey brothers. Because nothing's more terrible than the Delancey brothers. Okay. The story starts off with a quote in italics, so let's read this. Your brother is the only one that can vote. He's the one that will carry the family name, so I should think that him going to college then paying for you to go to school. That makes no sense whatsoever, so good job on that one. Panting, I came to a stop. I was far away from him and his house now. Looking around, the streets were obnoxiously loud, the Newsies trying to get their last papers sold, people rushing to get their homes before dark, vendors yelling at children not to touch the merchandise, and cobblestones clacking against the horses' hooves. Stepping out of the street, I hurried to calm myself. I had run away, not knowing where I was going, and didn't think to bring anything with me. I only wore the clothes on my back and a deep-set frown, because that's going to scare away people. Looking down at my clothes, I mused. What did you muse about? Tell us. Oh wait, she doesn't. I had left with what I was wearing, white gown with puffed elbow-length sleeves and ribbon bows. Dark boots that fit snugly, because every rich girl wearing a gown is going to wear dark boots underneath her shoes. Or underneath her dress. Sorry, not shoes. I had worn an extra dress on me just in case it was cold. But all these underdress did was make me look bulky and sluggish. Wiping my brow, I braided my hair to keep it out of my face, grumbling. I knew it looked a mess. My mother had never gotten the chance to teach me how to braid, so you don't know how to braid. Walking into the alley, I didn't bother to avoid the puddles on my path. I could feel my leather boots getting soiled, seeping onto my feet. Grumbling, I laid down on a dry patch of cobblestones. Sorry, I'm just picturing this bitch in like a puffy-ass dress, laying in the middle of the street. Like, fuck this shit. Sorry, it's funny. The wall did my back no favors. I thought you were laying on the ground, the cobblestones, but apparently on a wall? Girl, you need to keep up with your stories. But it got more comfortable after a while. Still, I knew I wouldn't get any sleep. The gravity of what I had done hit me hard. I could feel the familiar lump in my throat. Swallowing it back down, I tugged at my braid, willing to stay firm on my head. Easing myself to sleep, I repeated to myself that I had done the right thing. My sleep was restless. Every time something crawled, squeaked, or moved near me, I awoken. My eyes were getting heavy from lack of sleep, and my body had no energy. If I had to run any more, I would surely pass out from exhaustion. Training my sensitive ears on any noise, I made sure that no one other than the rats and me were in the alley. I could fight a little, but it was a bad idea to get into a fight to start with. I would surely lose. And then in bold, click, clock. Startled out of my mind, I looked around for the source of it. I must have been hearing things. I could swear I heard footsteps. There it was again. But this time it was closing in on me. Frozen from fear, I willed my body to move. Years of practice made my footsteps light and unheard. Just to confuse anyone following me, I darted from side to side, never staying in one spot. After I had done a good distance away, I doubled back and laid back down. The next morning, I wandered around town until I found a little tailor shop. I sold my extra dress, keeping my white one. With the money I had made, I bought myself a few clothes, a satchel, and a tattered but put together umbrella. Going into the dressing room, I changed quickly. Glancing into the mirror, I saw myself face to face with another girl. Her tan skin was dirty and scratched, her face covered in grim and sweat. Not grime and sweat, but grim and sweat. Good one. There were circles under her eyes from staying up late, and her lips were horribly chapped. Oh, girl's got some chapped lips. Crust of crusts. Her messy braid went down to just above her chest and was oily. A light forest green button-up shirt hid her curves, and a brown suspenders held her faded orange plaid trousers up. Okay, fic writers, can we just have a discussion? Girls in 1899 would not walk around in trousers and suspenders and shirt. They'd wear a skirt, some type of shirt, under things, or a dress, or something like that. They're not going to be fucking wandering around wearing trousers and suspenders, and no, they're not going to dress like a boy. We're just going to get that out there, okay? Good, we got that. Excellent. Anyways, Her brown boots were dirty and left wet splotches everywhere. Tearing my gaze from the sad scene, I pinned up my hair, secured it with a tattered light brown newsy hat. Tucking my dress into the white bag I had bought, I wandered around to get acquainted with the place I was bond to be spending time in. She was bond to be spending time in. Excellent. Before I knew it, I had found my way to the local distribution center. If I was going to make a living, I had to do it some way. Buying 20 papes, I made my way to the market, where I tried to sell them. After selling 15, I lied down somewhere. No, that's wrong. I lied some down on another Newsies paper. I don't even know what this word is. They spelled something completely wrong. It looks like some different language. Anyways, okay. 15 cents. Only enough for a meager bowl of soup, but only if I didn't want to sell any papes tomorrow. Sighing, I resolved not to eat today. Keeping my steps light, I felt the wind tug at my cap. Holding it to my head, I turned around to see some papers fly away. A couple of boys were walking behind me, making no attempt at hiding. Straightening my back, I doubled my pace, hoping to lose them. But their footsteps became more prominent until they were right on my tail. Ducking into an alley, I walked on. Maybe they would give up on hustling me. But they stayed and cornered me into the alleyway. Looking behind me, I saw boys, just like them, muscly. They didn't spell muscly right, so I'm just going to read how it's spelled. Muscly. And wearing suspenders, trousers, and button-down shirt. They all had Newsboys' hat on and a slingshot in their hand. They must be from Brooklyn. Looking back ahead of me, I saw the group disperse to let a boy taller than me get in front. He had a slightly tan skin, paling against my tan. His eyes were a blue silver, contrasting my dark chocolate ones. I could see his hairline, which revealed a part of his short cut, dirty blonde hair. He was wearing red suspenders and a lightly striped, button-down, blue-collared shirt with a pair of dirty brown plaid trousers rolled up like mine. He sported a cane along with a necklace holding a key and a slingshot looped in his belt. Biting my lip, I stopped myself from thinking about how poorly outnumbered I was. Maybe they just wanted to talk. Also, guys, I don't think Spot has dirty blonde hair. He has brown hair. That's it. I wish people would stop thinking he had blonde hair. What you's doing selling papes without my consent? He questioned with his New York accent. Of course, they're New York assholes. I didn't reply. Instead, I bit my tongue, stopping myself from getting in trouble. His eyes hardened when I hadn't replied. Yous can't sell papes if yous ain't a newsie. I thought selling papers made you a newsie. I'm just saying. He said with a matter-of-fact attitude, letting go of my tongue and lowering my voice. I spat at him. Yeah, what makes you think you can boss me around? Snickers erupted around me as I had said something funny. A smirk graced the boy's face as he said with pride, well, that's coys. I's be the king of de Brooklyn Newsies, and yous being in Brooklyn and all makes me your king. I just want to know your is spelled Y-O-I-R. King. Your king. Smiling, I retorted, just 'cause you are the king of a bunch of newsies, don't make you the king of everyone in Brooklyn. I made a mental note to get out of Brooklyn. It had the worst reputation for violence. But if what I heard was right, this was the infamous Spot Colin, fearsome and proud. It was a bad idea to cross him. I never liked being in a fight, so I was always afraid to get hurt. But either way, I got what I wanted. But it always felt like a victory. I knew I was supposed to be afraid of him, but in an attempt to look brave, I just glared back at him, looking back at his eyes. Oh, shit, my laptop. Which had now turned a harsh silver. I've never known anybody whose eyes just change colors at random, but what I'm realizing a lot in these fics is that when people experience different moods, their eyes change colors. My eyes pretty much stay green all the time, no matter what mood I'm in. I wish fic writers would pay attention to that. Okay, yous has no idea who yous are talking to. You had better just get out of Brooklyn while you got a chance, he sneered. You don't look like you'd last a day. Narrowing my eyes in turn, I gave a loud huff. It was a bad idea to rebuke him since I would probably get into a fight. And it didn't matter. Oh, God, I hope she fights him. Where I slept. As long as I was relatively safe, I wouldn't mind leaving Brooklyn, so I swiveled on my heel as the boys parted to let me through. And she spelled heel wrong, by the way. As I was close to being through, I felt waves of triumph coming off Spot Colin. Turning around, I took a few steps forward. The smirks on his face was wearing off. My mind told me to stop. My heart was beating fast out of fear, but I refused to look weak, my reputation for being unafraid at stake. After one more step, I sat a foot away from Conlon, digging my feet into the ground for support. Pulling my hat down, I tauntingly whispered, "Want a bet?" His face now devoid of anything except annoyance, as if I was a pest could be easily taken care Wait, if I was a pest, could easily be taken care of. Mouth pulled in a tight line. He leapt at me. Yes, they're gonna bite him. So excited. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. He leaped at me. Craning my head forward so it wouldn't bounce on the ground, I shut my eyes tight. If you refuse to look at him, beat the stuffing out of you. People will think you're weak, I argued with myself. After hearing a few gasps, I opened my eyes to see what was wrong. Spot Colin was on top of me, his hands holding my elbows down and his legs in between mine. Kinky. His Newsies had surrounded us in a tight circle, as if eager to see a fight. Struggling to test his grip, I felt it loosen. Pushing him off me, I hastened to swat dust off my shoulders. Reaching to pull my hat down, my hands clasped around air. That's when I noticed that my hat had fallen off when Spot pushed me to the ground, and my braid was now undone. Pursing my lips together, I grabbed my hat and slapped it back on, this time without my hair tucked away. My anger always got the best of me, and I wished that for once I would swallow my pride and hide away in cowardice. Clenching my fists, I gritted my teeth and spat. Aren't you going to fight? Okay, so this fic's long, but the last line in this chapter is, Darlin, Goyle's camping Newsies. They could, and I'm pretty sure Spot would have known that. So this fic kind of was terrible, and yeah, it sucked. I wish fic writers would try harder. End of story. Have a good Saturday night, everybody.